Let's get right into it. Number 7. The ritual trap. Some people have to touch the doorknob exactly 3 times before leaving the house. Or maybe they arrange the items on their desk in perfect symmetrical alignment every single morning. We all have little quirks, but for some people, these aren't just preferences. They're urgent, screaming demands from their brain that feel impossible to ignore. This is the hidden world of OCD control rituals. This isn't about being neat or organized. It's about a deep, terrifying feeling that something catastrophic will happen if you don't perform these specific actions. The ritual becomes the brain's desperate and ultimately flawed attempt to shut down that terror. It's like having an invisible electric fence around you. If you break the rules, your internal alarm system goes haywire. These rituals can look bizarre from the outside. Someone might wash their hands until they're raw and bleeding, not because they're actually dirty, but to wash away a bad thought. Others might check that the stove is off a dozen times, convinced that one mischeck will burn the house down. The truly maddening part is that the relief these rituals provide is temporary. The anxiety comes roaring back, often demanding the ritual be performed again, maybe even more elaborately this time. It's a cruel cycle that can eat up hours of someone's day. The brain believes if I do this, the bad thing won't happen, but it's a trick. The ritual itself becomes the prison. This isn't a choice or a personality quirk. It's the brain's alarm system misfiring, desperately trying to regain control in a world that suddenly feels terrifyingly unsafe. Number 6. Frozen by choices. Ever spent 45 minutes scrolling through Netflix, unable to pick a movie, until you just give up and go to bed? Or stood in the cereal aisle for so long that the store's security guard starts giving you weird looks? This isn't just being indecisive. This is decision paralysis, and it can be a sign that your brain's anxiety circuits are completely fried. Picture this. You're at a restaurant and the waiter asks what you want to order. A simple question. But your brain turns into a supercomputer running every possible disaster scenario. What if the pasta is cold? What if the chicken gives me food poisoning? What if I pick the wrong thing and everyone at the table silently judges my poor choice? Ordering lunch has just become a life or death situation in your head. People with decision paralysis aren't just picky. Their brains are stuck in a terrifying loop, desperately trying to avoid making the wrong choice. They're waiting for that perfect feeling of 100% certainty that never comes. So, they freeze. This isn't limited to small stuff like what socks to wear. It bleeds into everything. Career moves get postponed indefinitely. Relationships stay in limbo. People stay in jobs they hate because the process of looking for a new one means making hundreds of choices. The brain's fear response gets so dysregulated that picking a sandwich becomes as neurologically stressful as defusing a bomb. So, if you find yourself constantly paralyzed by choices that other people seem to make without a second thought, it might not be a personality quirk. It might be your brain sounding a very clear alarm. Number 5. The Reassurance Trap. Imagine needing to hear "Are you sure?" over and over again, but the answer never quite sticks. This is excessive reassurance seeking. It's like having an anxiety alarm in your head that only a constant stream of "yes, you're okay, everything is fine" can temporarily silence. You send a text message. There's no immediate reply. Instead of assuming the other person is just busy, your brain screams, "They're mad at me. I said something wrong." So you text again, asking, "Are we okay?" They say yes. For a fleeting moment, you feel relief, but then the doubt creeps back in. What if they're just saying that to be nice? Maybe I should ask again, just to be really sure. This isn't about getting new information. It's about trying to get rid of a deeply uncomfortable feeling of anxiety or uncertainty. The problem is, it's a trap. The more you seek reassurance from others, the more your brain relies on it to feel calm, and the less it trusts itself. Each reassurance provides a tiny hit of relief, which then reinforces the seeking behavior, making the urge to ask again even stronger next time. It's a vicious cycle. This isn't attention-seeking. It's a compulsive behavior often seen in anxiety disorders and OCD. The brain is desperately trying to get 100% certainty in a world that is fundamentally uncertain. The reassurance seeker isn't trying to be annoying. They're often in genuine distress, caught in a loop where the only temporary relief comes from an answer that never truly sticks. Number 4. The disaster movie mind. Ever make a tiny mistake at work, and suddenly your brain shows you a full-length feature film where you're fired, homeless, and fighting pigeons for a discarded piece of bread? Or your friend doesn't text back for an hour, and your mind immediately concludes they either hate you or they're in a ditch somewhere? This isn't just worrying. This is catastrophic thinking. It's like having a personal film director living in your head who only makes Michael Bay-style disaster movies, and you're always the star. Your brain takes one small negative event and blows it up into an apocalyptic nightmare. Your boss sounds slightly annoyed on a call. A normal brain thinks, Maybe they're having a bad day. A catastrophic brain thinks, I'm getting fired. I'll lose my house and my cat will leave me for a more successful owner. This can feel responsible, like you're just being prepared for the worst. But there's a huge difference between planning for a rainy day and assuming a biblical flood is coming because you forgot to reply to an email. People with this pattern don't just imagine messing up a presentation. They see themselves freezing on stage, the audience laughing, getting fired, becoming unemployable, and ending up as that person who yells at statues in the park, all stemming from one misplaced PowerPoint slide. The anxiety this creates is intense because in your mind, this disaster movie feels 100% real, like it's already happening. Studies show most of the disasters we imagine never come to pass. But try telling that to a brain that's convinced a typo in a text message means the end of all your relationships. Number 3. The rejection panic button. Ever felt like a tiny bit of criticism hit you like a physical punch? Or like someone slightly ignoring you felt like the end of the world? If that sounds familiar, your brain might have a faulty panic button. It's called rejection-sensitive dysphoria, or RSD. Dysphoria is just a fancy word for a really bad feeling. So RSD means feeling extreme, overwhelming, and immediate pain from perceived rejection or criticism. This isn't just getting your feelings hurt. It's like an emotional atom bomb goes off inside you over something most people would just shrug off. Someone with RSD might become a chronic people pleaser, terrified of anyone thinking they're less than perfect, because any mistake feels like a devastating personal failure. Or they might suddenly explode in anger or burst into tears over something that seems incredibly small to everyone else. The weirdest part is the rejection doesn't even have to be real. A friend looking distracted during a conversation can feel like they secretly hate you. A delayed text message can feel like a personal attack. It's like their brain hits the big red panic button for no good reason. This isn't them being dramatic or weak. It's how their brain is wired. It's extremely common in people with ADHD, and experts think their brains just feel the sting of social rejection way more intensely. Imagine constantly worrying your partner is going to leave you, not because of anything real, but because of this intense internal fear. That intense reaction you see might just be their brain's faulty alarm system unleashing a storm of very real pain. Number 2. Compulsive body habits. You know that friend who's always biting their nails down to the quick during a movie? Or maybe you've caught yourself picking at that same scab for the 10th time today, even though you know you should stop. These aren't just bad habits. They might be your brain's dysfunctional way of screaming for help. They're called body-focused repetitive behaviors, or BFRB, and they affect millions of people who have no idea it's an actual diagnosable condition. Let's start with nail biting. Sure, lots of people do it, but for some, it goes way beyond a nervous habit. They bite until their fingers bleed, until the nail bed is destroyed, and they can't stop even when they desperately want to. And then there's skin picking, or dermatillomania. This isn't popping the occasional pimple. It's hours spent in front of a mirror, digging at perfectly healthy skin, creating wounds that turn into scars. Hair pulling, or trichotillomania, is another one. People pull out their own hair, strand by strand, from their scalp, eyebrows, or eyelashes, until there are bald patches they have to cover up. Most people doing these behaviors aren't fully conscious of it. It's like their hands have a mind of their own, driven by an intense signal from the brain to fix something. During the act, there's often a strange sense of relief or satisfaction, but afterward comes the shame, guilt, and physical pain. These behaviors often get worse during periods of stress or anxiety. It's the brain's twisted way of trying to cope, like it's saying, I feel out of control, so let's create a physical problem I can control. Number 1. When joy disappears. Ever bite into your absolute favorite food? That pizza you've been craving all week, and it tastes like cardboard. Or your best friend tells you they got engaged, and instead of feeling a surge of excitement, you just feel nothing. You might think you're just tired or stressed, but this emotional flatlining has a name: anhedonia. It's the inability to feel pleasure from activities that used to make you happy. Picture this. Your brain has a joy circuit. When something good happens, this circuit is supposed to light up with chemicals like dopamine, giving you that warm, fuzzy feeling. But with anhedonia, that circuit is broken or dimmed. You go to a party where everyone's laughing and having a great time, and you know you should be having fun, but you feel like you're watching the scene through a thick pane of glass. There are 2 main types. Social anhedonia is when hanging out with people, even people you love, feels empty and like a chore. Physical anhedonia is when physical sensations, like eating good food, listening to music, or even physical intimacy, lose their spark. Anhedonia isn't its own illness. It's a core symptom of several mental health conditions, most notably major depressive disorder. It can also show up in anxiety disorders, PTSD, and after long periods of intense stress. So if life's pleasures have packed their bags and left town, it's not you being difficult or ungrateful. It's a critical sign that something deeper might be going on with your brain's reward system. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.